I'm really enamored to see so many of my children and be able to find them back. It's such a great thing to see them after such a long time. While I came here 10 years back and none of them could feel the importance of mother's love. And now it has worked. Such a tremendous thing has happened that it has worked and that people are feeling that great thing called the subtle energy of mother's love. Now in these 10 years, I've been all over the world, Australia, Europe, England, India. But I must tell you, my attention was in America all the time. I was longing for the day when I would feel like coming back to this country. Because I thought 10 years back it was too early. They have to learn it, what truth is. They have to go through it. They are a bit too cocksure. Unless and until it works out that way, they are not going to accept Sahaja. But what do you accept in Sahaja is yourself, is your spirit, is your power of Kundalini, and by which the responsibility that when you get this realization, you have to settle down with it, know all about it. You have to become a guru of yourself first and then the guru of others. In short, Sahaja Yoga is the epitome of our evolution. That is what we are made human beings into. All these scientific methods that have come on this earth, all these explorations that are there are to communicate about Sahaja Yoga. Nothing else. They are not going to be used for anything else. If you use them for anything else, they will have no impact, no achievement, and everything will be wasted. As I was talking to Doctor, did you talk today about peptones and all that? Not really. All right, I've asked him to talk to you. That the human mechanism is the highest of all. We have now created the highest thing, as we call it, as the computer. It goes alongside with our own building inside. Now the computer has to think. It just can't do anything without thinking. Now when you see me, you are not thinking, you just see me. You see this, you see that. You don't have to think. Go into the process of thinking. Spontaneously you know what it is. And they will take thousands of years. They will never be able to produce a computer like that. Then the computer, when it starts working, the human computer, is going even ahead of that. When you become the computer, when you get connected with the mains, you know everything. Because the mechanism within you is the absolute mechanism, the perfect mechanism. It has no defects except that you have misused it, you have overpressed it, or you have taken it to a junk shop for nothing. But you'll be amazed that you can repair it yourself. The vital power within you has repaired it. So this power, which is within us, can repair it. Repair. That's first thing it does, is to repair us. We should accept that there is some repairing needed within ourselves. That is one thing one has to accept. Otherwise, you cannot go very far with it. Supposing you buy a fifth-hand ship, then you better repair it before putting it to the sea. Like some ladies came to see me off and on from France. So my husband said, what's this? She has once given you realization, then why are you bothered? He is dealing with shipping, you see. So the lady answered, sir, supposing you buy a fifth-hand ship, what will you do? He said, in all wisdom, I will never buy. And even if I buy, after using it for a while, if it doesn't work out, we'll throw it in the sea. We have no patience. So one has to know that you have to work it out. You have to understand your value and your problem, and you have to work it out. It's very easy to work out yourself. Like there was one Sahaja Yogi was written this book, Advent. One day he came very disturbed. He said, Mother, I ask you a question. If it is yes, you just keep quiet because I'll be really blasted. If it is no, it's all right. So I said, what's the question? He said, was I Napoleon last life? I said, what makes you think that? He said, because I have a very big ego. I've discovered such a big ego and I float suddenly. So with the slightest jump, I go floating. That's one thing. And the second thing is that I can draw very well from my childhood. I had a very strong hand for lines. That he too had. That's why I am rather worried. If I was Napoleon, I said, none at all, don't you worry. Then he was settled down because he said that would be really an abuse of you to give realization to Napoleon, a person like Napoleon. Now look at that. Once upon a time, Napoleon was the hero. I mean, as we were young children in India, we had to learn about the greatness of Napoleon. How his childhood was spent and how he conquered countries after countries. And his words were used just like some scriptural saying. But now today, the same country doesn't want to accept him as a hero. On the contrary, they think he was an idiot to do such a thing. So the situation has changed now. People have learned their lessons. And they think this is not the way the hero should be. So now today the hero is, say, someone like Mahatma Gandhi, or you had Mr. King here. All such people, I would say Abraham Lincoln, he is coming up as a hero. What is so special about these people? We have to see. They were all realized souls, no doubt. But one thing more they had was that they imbibed in them the capacity to emit compassion, love, nourishment and soothing capacity of the Mother Earth. Because of that, only they are today respected as great heroes. And that is what Sahaja Yogis have to be now. They have done all competition, all nonsense. I mean, so many have turned back to that. Like they started anti-culture, saying that, oh, this is too much. This suit and boot is too much for us. We don't want to have it. So they turned their back to that and they started seeking. But while seeking also, they went to the other side of it and got lost. Like one fellow came to me, all stinking, his hair was stinking, he never had bath for a year, he said. Then I said, what's the matter? You're smelling like a dog. So he said, I want to be a dog. I said, but why? So he said, I like it. But I said, why are you troubling everybody else, you see? So he says, Mother, but I want to be primitive. I said, with this brain you can never be primitive. You may change your hats, you may change everything, you may change your hairstyle, anything. You cannot become primitive, you are a modern man. Accept it. So why trouble others for nothing at all? And this is how it is, that we think by our mental projections, by our mental conceptions, we can do something. You cannot do anything. Whatever you do becomes absolutely useless. Why? Because, as Doctor will explain to you later on, that within us now there is something called peptones, you see, which work out for the neutralizing of our problems with the sugar. Now they have a built-in capacity to be in a spiral shape. They are in a spiral shape. And once they become linear, they lose their biological effect. Now, according to him, that with putting all amino acids, everything together, they can only create 5% of all that is created by nature within us. You can imagine how far they have reached. With all that advancement, everything, only 5%. Now, these peptones, as they are spiral, Everything within us is like that, in the sense that our evolution has to take place spirally. It has to move in a spiral way, not linear way, like a pendulum. Like the men are becoming women, women becoming men, they are homosexual, this sexual, that sexual. It's all mental projection. It's joyless. It doesn't give you anything at all. All your ideas of democracy, capitalism, communism, all isms that are nothing but mental projections. They are not reality. Because you have no capital. What will you distribute? Your capital is your spirit. And when you get that capital within you, distribute. You can't live without it. Like me, you see. For all practical purposes, I am a happily married woman. Our friends don't understand what's wrong with this woman. Why is she going round to talk to people? What is she doing? Such a big capitalist, what is the need for her to go down? But I am a capitalist inside. And I must spread this. I must give this. I am the greatest communist, I should say that, because I must give it. So the communism or capitalism and all these political ideas are absolutely parallel to what's inside. But it's not the inside. It's not the genuine thing inside. On these mental projections I have told you, people just start believing. Like people believe that we are twice born. If you want to believe, you can believe you are a dog or an elephant. You can believe whatever you like. But that belief has no meaning at all, because it is not so. Supposing I believe I am the governor of Los Angeles, they'll say you are mad. That's what it is. Because if you believe into something and you start acting, it is always a falsehood, it's mythical. Now Christ also, or any one of them came, they said you believe in them, what they were saying. What Christ said, that you believe that there is God, that He is the Son of God, is fact. But you have not become the Son of God. When you start believing that we have Christ in our pocket, then you are sadly mistaken. Christ is very far away from you just now. So mentally, if you accept any situation like that, then you become a complete barrier to truth. There's nothing can go into your head, because you think, oh wow, I go to church, all right, I pay money for the church. Church is not Christ. So now churches are selling in England and they are making pubs out of it. Actually pubs, I mean people will be even worse there, because all dead bodies are lying down below and here they are going for drinking. What's going to happen to them? It's a serious matter for me. So this is what it is, that when we start believing into something, we also believe we are that. Some people read Gita. And when they read Gita, they believe they are Vyasa themselves, the one who wrote it. But some of them believe they are Shri Krishna themselves. To this extent people go to believe that they themselves are Shri Krishna, they talk like Shri Krishna. Now the Shri Krishna's qualities are there. If I say I am Christ, all right, you should say that if you are Christ, walk on the water. And if I say I am the Holy Ghost, then you should say, all right, raise our Kundalini, is said. If you can raise our Kundalini, then you are the Holy Ghost, otherwise you cannot raise Amas. That's the point is. And if that is so, then you should accept someone as something. It's already written down. But on the contrary, people start believing they are the Holy Ghost. I've met people like that. They said, we are the Holy Ghost, we are Christ, we have to just keep it. What an ego. And that's what makes people absolutely closed to truth. They cannot see truth because they want to believe that they are already there. They have got it, only they have to keep it. It's a wrong thing. You still have to have it. But in our practical life, we don't do that. You see, in practical life, supposing we just believe that this is mine, it doesn't become mine, does it? And if I go and say, no, this is mine, I'll be put into jail. Anything like that we do not believe unless and until we have it. Supposing I say, all right, sit down here, there's a chair. Will you sit? You'll first see it is there or not. In the same way, in our spirituality, we are just the opposite. We want to believe because we know nothing is going to be challenged. And that's how we close ourselves to reality. We have to be, we have to become. And that's the problem of Sahaja Yoga, that you cannot become a Sahaja Yogi unless and until you become. There is no certificate, there is no payment. We cannot say it has to become. Unless and until you are a tree, we cannot call a seed a tree. That cannot be done. Nor you would like to call. So that's how it is. We have to humbly accept that we have to become. If we really humble down on that point that we have to become, that all our knowledge has been of no use, is non-knowledge, then only it happens. There was a great poet in India called Surdas. He was a blind poet, has written lots of poems describing his agony to meet God. And such poems people like because they too have the same agony. So they like to sing, when will I meet you, when will it happen and all that. So he sang all this. But after all that, the last thing he wrote was very beautiful. Surdas ki savi avidya dura karo nandala. That, O Lord, Shri Krishna, please remove my non-knowledge. So far I have written Sursagar, the ocean of his poems, he says, is nothing but non-knowledge. So just remove it. The knowledge has to be felt on your consciousness, on your central nervous system. So all other things like people start jumping, going under the blanket, saying that our guru is great. You can't even make out whether he is a true guru or non-guru. How can you say that he is your guru? Guru has to be a person who knows everything about it and who is above money, above all these material things, and he is nothing but compassion. I agree. Many can say that, Mother, because you were not here, we went to other people. It's not true. I was the first to come here. 10 years back I came here, but you were not happy with me that time. You didn't like me very much because I had no Rolls Royces. Oh, they actually asked me, Mother, how many Rolls Royces you have got? I said, Rolls Royces for what? They said, you see, they all collect Rolls Royces here. I said, I have come to collect my own children. I have not come to collect Rolls Royces. So they asked me, then how do you explain these people who come here in the name of God try to collect Rolls Royces? I said, I cannot explain because I cannot stoop down to their level. I can't understand their level. Because to take even a little bit from someone free itself is parasitic. I mean, if somebody gives me a present, even materially, I think I should repay it back. Somehow or other I must return. It's very hard for me to accept even a little thing from you people whom I'm giving this because I have to give. It's to be given. It is your own. I'm like a banker. It's your right to have it. So I have to give it. And in return, to take Rolls Royces and all that is so parasitic and is so below level. There is no self-respect. So I asked the gentleman who was asking me a question, supposing I tell you come in my house and live freely, will you do that? He said, no. I said, then to take a Rolls Royce free from someone on other people's money, is it not parasitic? What are they doing to get the Rolls Royce? What work are they putting? What material things they are doing that they should ask for Rolls Royces? Like that, you see, and people get enamored by these Rolls Royces. I tell you, the gentleman who has Rolls Royces here, I met him before. And he told me, unless and until he didn't know that I know all these things very well. I just camouflaged myself quite a lot and wanted to know what he's doing to the people. And he said, you know what is going to impress the people in the West? Big houses and great big cars. He himself wanted to buy a Mercedes at that time. And we had a Mercedes and he wanted to talk to me about it, so I would sell the Mercedes to him. Just imagine. He knew at that time that you people will be more impressed by Rolls Royces. Just imagine such a thing to happen. So we have many contentions and many ideas about things. In Sahaja Yoga, gradually they drop out. I don't want to shock you because you will think, oh Mother, this also is gone. Like a homosexual came to me and he asked, Mother, what do you think of homosexual? I looked at him, I said, all right, I'll explain to you, sit down. I took about half an hour to explain to him how he became homosexual and how it is enslaving him. It is a joyless pursuit. He will never have a joy. And moreover, those who are today born have a greater responsibility because they should have sane marriages to allow the great saints to be born in this country. Only devils will be born under such circumstances. Only devils. Who can face such circumstances when mother is marrying 10 times, father is marrying 12 times, and the child is, innocence is all the time attacked? So we have to have sane, good marriages if we want the saints to be born here. And without their birth, we cannot see the saving of this madness that's going on. So, but I told him very clearly how it has come. Because yesterday, also day before yesterday, I spoke on that. How the homosexuals were created in this country or any country in the West. In India, we did not know all this, what it's supposed to be, so unnatural. We must be primitive people because they are so advanced, and we don't know about these things. Actually, I couldn't eat my food for 8 days thinking that now they are doing this is too much. But actually what has happened is your laws. Your laws are very funny. The laws are such that if a man marries a woman, there's in for trouble. Because he loses half of his money with first wife, then half of it with the second, then half of it with the third. By the time he's third time married, he's just poor thing. You see, this is the law. I have seen women very rich, very well off, and the husbands absolutely paupers. Same lady marrying one husband looking like a pauper, absolutely has no money. So this is one of the law which is very, very, I think, is imbalanced and creates a problem between husband and wife quite a lot, because the whole thing becomes money oriented. And I know of somebody who is a great surgeon, Winnie, in America. Her mother has married now 10 times. She's older than me. And now this is her 11th marriage she's arranged. So that is what she's doing. And that's how she's quite a moneyed lady. And I don't know how she manages that, how she's befooling so many men and managing that thing. So the marriage becomes just a joke. Secondly, this is one of the reasons why men don't want to marry women, because there's no equality of sharing. And that's why one of the reasons why they thought it's better to have a man as a companion or a spouse. Then the second thing which is very wrong in us is that the women don't understand their responsibility, and because men oppress them so much. At the time of Abraham Lincoln, if you see, the men were horrid, absolutely, much worse than Indian men, much worse. They used to oppress women and they used to do all kinds of things, and women were denied all kinds of rights. So as a result of that, now women have become men, you see, and they are trying to dominate. I mean, when I see an American woman, I'm quite surprised how they treat their husbands. Now, you see, there's a trick. They must know of a woman how to treat the husband to put him right. She is a mother, and the tricks you don't know. That's why we, of course, I mean, our husbands are just with us throughout. But we know the trick, and you don't know the trick. You are trying something which won't work out, because you are not an instrument for that. For supposing this is an instrument for emitting my voice, and if I start using it for playing a tape record, you cannot. So the woman is a woman and a man is a woman. Man is a man. And if the man tries to be a woman and a woman tries to be a man, there's going to be a problem. But that doesn't mean that woman should sit at home and look after the children. It doesn't mean that at all. But the woman's qualities are of nourishment, or of soothing, or of compassion. There are such powerful qualities you do. Your compassion is so great that your children cannot go anywhere. Anything happens, they must come to you. Your husband cannot go anywhere, he has to come to you. The compassion is so pure and so great that the power of compassion we have never realized. This is the power of compassion of God. Is his feminine, the mother, that's working it out. He is just a witness of the whole show. He is not bothered. If you people don't behave all right, he'll just switch off everything. He'll switch off, he's very anxious because he's just a spectator. He's a lonely spectator of the whole spectacle. And he can just switch off the whole spectacle if he doesn't like it. So the mother has to play a very beautiful role, very carefully. She has to nourish her children, she has to look after them, she has to bring them up, and should be then entered into the kingdom of God. Then only you can enter into the kingdom of God. And that is a thing of great patience, love, and tremendous power. If you don't have power, say this mother did not have power, she could not have borne us. With all the kinds of horrible things going on, the way we are digging her, the way we are torturing her, she would have collapsed long time back. But she has such a tremendous power of forgiveness, of compassion, love and nourishment that she is acting in us. And your Kundalini is the same Mother Earth. She is the representation of the same Mother Earth, the same Holy Ghost, the same Kumbha, as we call it, the Aquarius. That's the Aquarius. This is the Aquarian age, they call it, because this is the age when you will get your nourishment. Your own Kundalini is going to nourish you. She is going to soothe you. She is going to guide you properly. The mother is the greatest guru. I mean, even the gurus have their mata. A guru has to be a mata. Otherwise, how will they come? And the whole absurdity has come to us also in the West, from many religions, especially we should say Christianity and Judaism, where they didn't talk of the mother at all. That was not the time to talk, because at the time of Abraham they had to talk of the father. Then at the time of Christ they had to talk of the son. That was the time, because if he had talked about his own mother, they would have killed her, and then he would have come out with his 11 destroying power and would have finished the whole joke once for all. So he never talked about the mother power. Now the time has come for the mother power. And I was told that in the 13th century, somebody, what was his name?
Joaquin de Fiore.
He talked about this, that because I don't read books, you see. He taught that it was the time of the father, then the manifestation of the son, and the manifestation of the mother is awaited. And when this manifestation takes place, as a result of that, only you get your realization. But those people who want to take advantage only talk of the doomsday. They don't talk of the resurrection day. Now, if you read Quran, any one of you who has read Quran, I deliberately tried to understand it because my father translated it into Hindi language, that it mostly describes the resurrection time and very little of the doomsday. But the doom is described more, because then you can frighten everyone. The doomsday is coming, better get converted. You see, doomsday is coming, just to frighten people. And in that, he has very clearly said, at the time of resurrection, your hands will speak. They have all talked of the future. Christ has talked about the future, that he'll send you a comforter and he'll send you the Holy Ghost. He has talked about it. Every one of them has talked about 14,000 years back in India. A great astrologer, I mean, he's the, we should say, the father of astrology. He's the originator of astrology. Bhrigu Muni has written a book, Nadi Granth, in which he has clearly said that this sage will come with the mother, the Parabrahma, the mother. Parabrahma is the Adi Shakti, we call it the primordial mother's power, will come. And in 1970, this will start as Sahaja, the Kundalini will rise, and there will be no need for hospitals and all that. If it works out, we can avoid the Third World War. It's clearly said 14,000 years back. And if it is not working, then there will be a problem. Most of the people will be destroyed, and then only the yogis will take over. Means these yogis are Sahaja yogis. It's very clearly said in that. So it's already prophesied so many years back. For us, William Blake has prophesied that men of God will become prophets, and they'll have power to make others prophets. The amount of details William Blake has written, I don't think even Markandeya had done that. He, of course, Markandeya has described even the shape of my knees and all that, but this one has described even the exact house where I am going to live, all the houses, and even the ashram where we are going to live. Imagine, to that extent this William Blake has written. So you can understand how far he has gone deep into the whole thing. And he was such a great seer, born in England, which is the heart of the universe. So now, as they must have told you that this is the Vishuddhi chakra of the universe. Did you tell them that?
No.
Not yet. All right. So I leave it to them to tell you. And what are the responsibilities? I mean, the responsibility lies here, and how the Americans have the responsibility. I mean, you have been very noble people throughout. You have talked of such noble things, and I believed in it. You believed in it, and you always fought for the noble side of life. But now, if one by one, if you start destroying yourself from within, the whole thing can fritter up. So we have no right to destroy ourselves, because we cannot create even a hair. We have no business to say what's wrong. Whatever is wrong against life, whatever is anti-life is anti-God. God has created it. You have not created it yourself. So don't take up responsibility to ruin yourself. Only thing what you can do is to cure yourself. You have to soothe yourself, respect yourself. Even when you do something, know that are you doing out of respect for yourself or you are just doing because our ego is saying, what's wrong? Like these punk rocks, you see, going on with that kind of an absurd thing on the roads. It's like a clown they are moving, making themselves such a nuisance value it has. And in England it's very common to see these people. But when they come to me after that, I find their eyes are becoming blind. And it's become a great strain for me to clear that, because these dyes, you see, they make your eyes, these horrible dyes, make your optic look so heavy that your eyes become blind. These things have very serious effects. You must know that, and you must learn all about it, how it affects. Also you must learn, as Sahajogis, how to talk to others. First of all, among the Sahajogis, you are all one. You are part and parcel of the whole which is awakening. You all should keep together as one, and gradually you will understand how beautiful you all are, because you are all saints. Respect each other. You are saints. How can you insult anyone who are saints? So first of all, give up those bad habits of talking and barking at others. Try to love each other, respect each other, be very, very kind to each other, and if possible, try to express it through some material gifts or through some material help, in the sense not that you give money and all that, but we can send a little present sometimes, or we can just try to look after the comfort of the other person, put our attention to them, how you could be nice to them. There is no need to be slavish, there is no need to be pampering their ego, but know that as I am the saint, he is the saint. If you see the real saints when they meet in such a big way. You see that as if the two hands are rising, the 5 fingers are rising, all in unison, in concord. Imagine one hand is going like this, one other like this. You can't do any work. So you belong to one collective being, and all of you should understand to establish complete concord among yourselves. As far as the others are concerned, they are others. So when they are the others, then you have to talk to them very sweetly, quietly, gradually opening the truth about Sahaja Yoga, because Sahaja Yoga is a very great truth and not easy to be assimilated. Not easy, because it's a very great thing. It's impossible, especially for ego-oriented people, because they have like a snake. All the time the ego is sitting and just refuses to see things, you see, and that's how it's very difficult. So gradually open out one by one everything. Unless and until you find them, all right, don't tell them, because they'll shun away. Of course, it does not matter, they are the losers. But as we have to be compassionate towards them, we have to save them, you have to be careful not to tell them. Like a person is getting drowned and you are a swimmer. So you tell that person, keep quiet, don't move your hands, be careful. Sometimes they will not like, why not? I'm also going to. So if they do it, they'll follow. So then you have to tell them, if you do like that, you are going to follow. And you just release your hand for a while and let them see for themselves. And then they know, oh God, I'm going down. So then they keep quiet. So to give them a lesson, also a little bit is important. But in such a gentle way that they understand that if you have to go ahead, you have to learn about it, gradually come up. And do not blast them suddenly. If you blast them, then they'll be all shattered. You see, they are already in pieces. The whole world is in a big turmoil, in a big tension. And whatever we have to do it with great care and love and affection and understanding. So with others, you have to be gurus and to understand like the other gurus are. I mean, the real gurus are just the opposite of these gurus who are taking money from you. I mean, better keep off from the real ones, because they can hit you very hard. I know of someone, you see, once it happened that he told me that, Mother, if somebody troubles you, better send him over to me. I said, all right. I didn't know he was such a harsh man. And this gentleman was troubling me too much. I said, all right, go and see that Guru wants you. He was so elated because this Guru doesn't see people normally. So he went all the way, climbed all the mountains, reached here, you see. And he started talking about me. Oh, Mother has become so generous. She gives it to every Tom, Dick and Harry. She should not do this. It's not proper. She's cheapening Sahaja Yoga and all those things. He said, really? You think so? You're wiser than her, isn't it? And then he made him sleep there. And then next time I see him was when he came with both the legs broken and put around his neck and dangling like that, you see. In the hall I was sitting and tears started rolling my eyes. I said, what's this? Who has done this to you? He said, Guru has done it. I said, how? He said, I was sleeping and this Guru has, his hands and feet are broken by people. So he uses a tiger to move about. So the tiger came and he threw me in the khad. And I fell down. And it was about 12-15 feet down. I fell down and broke both the sides here. And then this Guru, after 3 days, you see, I called and called, nobody came. And then 3 days he put some chapatis, as we call, like your pita bread, down, saying that eat that now. And I was there, I was urinating, doing everything there in that filth. I was there. After 5 days, he picked me up. When I went up, he said, how dare you talk about mother? Now, you put these legs around your neck and go to her dangling like this, and she will cure you, not me. So go and tell her all about it. I said, what are you doing? I asked that Guru, what should you do like that? Another fellow doctor I sent him who had gone very much wrong. So he made him carry 2 buckets of water all the way to the mountain and clean one Shiva temple, which was all neglected. You see, a poor fellow, when he came, he was thin, just bones. I said, what happened, doctor? He said, you see, I was told this exercise for a month. So when I met him, I said, what do you mean by treating them like this? It was too much. He said, they are donkeys and donkeys must be treated like donkeys. That's my principle. You go ahead. You want to convert donkeys into good men, all right, you try. But I am not going to do that thing. He told me very frankly. So the real gurus don't take any money, but they really take you to task. So, and anybody who takes money, be sure that this is not a guru at all. By anything, you cannot take any money from the people. Now supposing if they have to build, say these people want to build some sort of an ashram. All right, go ahead. I have nothing to do. I don't want to see accounts or anything. You do among yourselves. I have nothing to do. And everyone should know how the money is spent, where they have spent it, how it has happened. Everyone should know, but I don't want to have the money because I don't understand money. So I better not have it that. So this is what an attitude should be for you people also, that in money matters also, you should be very straightforward. Now the point there I want to tell you is that, as Danny has told me, that people in Santa Cruz don't have the sustenance to stick to Sahaja Yoga. It's very surprising that they don't have sustenance. But to me, Americans seem to be doing guru shopping all the time. You see, they go here, all over. And this is a temple where you enter in, you settle down. If you go on digging everywhere for the well, what do you get? Nothing. So wherever you get little water, go on digging more there, settle down. Even if you got little bit, you go digging there more and more. And that's how you'll settle down as real Sahaja Yogis. So, as you know that Sahaja Yoga is not a thing that we have any organization as such, or we have any granting of diplomas, degrees or courses, nothing like that. It's somebody can go just like that. Some people I've seen grow so fast, surprising, and some people are so slow that I don't know what category I should put them. They come, go. You see, like we used to read in our mathematics before, a man came for 5 days, worked, ran away, and then another man came who worked for 2 days, ran away. All of them are runaways, you see. So if that kind of people are there in Sahaja Yoga, nothing will work out. You see, this work never will be over. Answer to that mathematics is it will never be done. You see, that's what it is. So for you people, it is important to know that you have to sustain yourself in Sahaja Yoga. It's very important because there's a drag. First is the material drag. Matter always drags you. Comfort, this, that. Whatever you may say that you are non-materialistic, it will drag you down. And that and other things like intellectual feats that you have gone through and the mental conception, you must see the truth and accept it. Don't accept anything, even when I'm telling you, because it's not proper. You must have an open attitude, but you'll find gradually, if you find about 9 points true, then you must believe in 100 points, because it's so, and go ahead with it. This is what the belief means. It does not mean that you should believe that now you have become like primordial masters. That's a wrong attitude. So I would say that gradually you are all going to grow into great people. You have before you some people sitting here who have grown like that, and some people have grown suddenly like that. I would say some of them were following so many other things, but they dropped it in a second. They dropped. It's such a quick understanding. But some are very slow people, and Sahaja Yoga has a double type of a force. One is centripetal, another is centrifugal. And through that another type of a thing, you go round and just you are thrown out as a tangent. So be careful. Try to remain in Sahaja Yoga. It's in within yourself you have to remain. Sahaja Yoga is all within yourself. So try to remain within yourself and follow the methods of Sahaja Yoga, which are actually the true, what we call the Shuddha Vidya, is the pure knowledge. It's the pure knowledge. How to handle your powers, how to cure your chakras, how to nourish yourself, and how to reach the state where you just become joy. All those things you have to understand and do it for yourself, and you have to do it for others also in the same way. But if you are not established, you yourself still are lingering with other things, then this transformation is not established. Then people are not going to believe. Like an egg you wear, now you become like a bird. But the bird has to come out of the shell completely, has to be a clean bird, has to know how to fly out properly, then only you will be called as really transformed bird. Because bird in Sanskrit language is called Vijaha, means twice born. And that happens to human beings also. That's why on a Christmas day we give eggs, because we are eggs, and with Christ's resurrection we have to become the bird. And that is why we have to learn so many things you will know which you have not known before. All the symbols, all the things that we have known from outside, you will know from inside, and the whole thing will be integrated, completely integrated. I hope I'll have one more chance to see you again and meet you again. But in any case, I would like to have questions from you, if possible. But there's no need for Sahaja Yogis to be aggressive with me. But be careful about murmuring souls, as Christ has said. You see, there are some people who are halfway. They play into the hands of negativity, and they go on murmuring at the back, you see. They won't allow you to progress further. We have some people even now, after 10 years, they continue slowly, slyly working out at the back bench, you see, and try murmuring and put you down. So you go according to your own understanding, and don't according to the other understanding. But gradually you'll find you'll come to the open space of complete reality. May God bless you. I would like to have questions.
Yes, about a year or so ago I was working on meditation and chanting, doing mantras, and trying to get in touch
Doesn't need to be that close.
Brahman, the Atman.
Yeah, all big talk.
What was happening to me is that certain cities were opening up.
Oh, horrible.
For example, I was so much in touch with other people's consciousness that when I was in a line for cookies, what the person in front of me ordered, it kind of got me, and I let to order the same thing. Could you tell me how I can
Get rid of it.
on that? So
Yeah, I'll tell you about this one is very nice. If some people who are in front can come sit in front here, will be nice idea. Will be closer. Those who can sit comfortably. Yeah, very good. You have said it the right thing at the right time, which I wanted to tell you about very much. I've got the chart here.
Yes, it's here, Mother.
Now you see the chart. It's here. Can you remove this one a little bit? Now the whole thing is that the naiveness of the Western people have been exploited by the people who wanted to really take advantage of it. Now how they discovered the naiveness? See, the naiveness that you are very naive at things was this. That so many people, even Jung, I would say Jung was a realized soul, no doubt, but even Jung was misled there. Of course, Freud was very much misled, so many of them. And when they read their books, they said, this is the chance to hit them. So when I saw one of the, as I said, I don't read much, but I had to talk to Jungian, so I saw there some of their diagrams. And I was shocked, you see, because what was there was they showed the human being as such, the unconscious first, a layer, then an unconscious that will manifest, then the subconscious, then the conscious mind on top of the ego. Such a jumble box, I tell you, really. And this must have given a key to these people to come down here. That means that if you have to go, now see how it is layer by layer they have put it. It's a self-conviction, I tell you. So, if you have to go to unconscious, down below, as it is said, then you have to go through subconscious. So, when they knew that these people are willing to go to the subconscious, they came here. And they started talking about, no, actually it is not like this. They are not placed one top of another. They are vertically placed. See here, that's the clear point. You see, God is the greatest organizer. See now, if I have to come inside, you won't keep all the people there, all these things there for me to cross through, will you? I mean, you'll organize in a way that there should be movement, isn't it? Even in an airport, if you go, you won't put all the hurdles in between where the people have to pass through. I mean, He's the greatest organizer. So He organized it this way. Beautifully done, that the path in the center is kept open for you to ascend ultimately. Alright? Now, the subconscious is on the left hand side.
Yeah.
Alright. The supraconscious, the future side, is on the right hand side. So you don't have to go to these places. Those people who take LSD and all that go to the right side. Those people who go to these, some of the gurus, I mean some gurus are also right-sided, like Hitler used that, supraconscious. He used that from lamas, he got it from lamas. So what happens that when without realization you try to push your attention to the left or the right, you go into these things where you get caught up into the collective subconscious on the left and the collective supraconscious on the right, and you start getting all this nonsense. And by that, you can be anything. I mean, see, people in the left side can suffer from all these diseases. See, all your incurable diseases like cancer, AIDS, mellitus, all these diseases, they come from left side entry. If you go to even doctors have accepted, because I saw there one film where they said that the triggering, first of all they say it has to be vulnerable, means too much of sympathetic activity. Supposing you have this chakra here like this, and this is the vertebra, left and right. Now, if there is too much sympathetic, means left or right activity, then it opens out and the connection with the whole is lost, you see. Now what happens, you start moving towards the left. Once you start moving towards the left, you enter into your subconscious area and then you enter into your collective subconscious where you are catching from other people, collective subconscious. It is not consciousness, but subconscious you are touching there. You see, now for example, I'll tell you a simple thing like flirting is also the same thing. You will be amazed, flirting is. We can't flirt, our eyes are too simple to flirt, there is nothing inside to flirt with. You see, it is a joyless pursuit, but this, what happens that a spirit, that guides the flirting. I was amazed when somebody told me this. I said, why is it? But I saw people getting the spirit from one eye to another. But I didn't know how it works out, but once somebody told me, he was standing with me on the platform, and suddenly he turned around. He said, see, there's a woman standing there. And I said, but you never saw her. But her spirit, collectively, as you said, behind. You were behind the gentleman, still you got it. Collectively, suggested. And this spirit informed that spirit, and the thing worked out and he turned around. See, because eyes are not innocent. The eyes have the spirit in them. You see, there's lust and greed. And if you have lust and greed in your eyes, then the spirits come to help you down. They also enjoy their lust and greed through your eyes or through your behavior. So they are there. And with this thing, you develop all these troubles of cancer and all these things. Because the doctor said that when it is vulnerable for cancer, means there is too much of left and right side activity, then triggering takes place by the attack from the area that is built within us since our creation. And they call it, the attackers are called as protein 52 and protein 58. Just imagine. You give them the name protein 52, 58, but I tell them these are nothing but spirits. Virus infection is nothing but the dead vegetables and animals which have gone out of circulation of your your evolution. Whatever goes out of circulation goes and settles down there. And whatever is in the future, a futuristic man who lives in future, see, most of the Western people live in future, they go to the supraconscious area. I mean, there are cases like somebody started suddenly painting like Gauguin. I know Gauguin is a great painter, you see, with the same strong lines and colors and things. And he has some very beautiful paintings, like he's done a sunflower beautifully. Yellow is his favorite color. And one did just in front of everyone on the television, you could see it. And he said, I'm possessed by Gauguin. And Gauguin started talking, yeah, I've possessed him. Because he was mad, he died, he possessed him. But it was for a short time. And then Gauguin went away. It's perhaps maybe that I gave it a bandhan. Perhaps, maybe. But that's what it is. So, you see, whatever is happening to you is not siddhis. Siddhi is this, where you become siddha, means proved to be realized. These are called kshudra, means shudra. Shudra like English mein kya? Huh? Untouchable. Shudra. Untouchable. These should not be touched. One should not touch them. This is very low, and that is what people think to be advancement. Like people start jumping, these Mahesh Yogis people, when they came to me, they were jumping on the first seat. I said, now what's happening here? They said, now we are flying in the air. I said, where? You are just jumping there like frogs, you see. Where is the air? And put your guru to fly. Let's see if he can fly. Why not ask them to fly? You see, you should find out also the life of Guru, how he is. Like the one who is supposed to be here, Bhagwan, he calls himself God. He cannot smell a flower. I mean, imagine there are at least, if there are 1,000 names of God, there are at least 30 names which say, you are so fond of this flower, you are so fond of that flower. I mean, if he cannot smell flower, then how can he be God? I mean, flower is the most beautiful thing in the creation, isn't it? And he cannot smell flower. Such a man should be something, put him into some filthy place, that he'll be happy there, I think. That's what it is. You must understand, if he doesn't like the fragrance of the flower, how can he be? And all of them are so gross, I tell you. They don't know any sophistication of life. Nothing. There's aesthetics, if you see the way it's horrible. If you see the carpets they use, the amount of things they have. I mean, it's all nonsense. You can see that even they are not rustic there. I don't know what to call them. They're very cheap type people. Very cheap. They can't talk to you about your philosophies or your music. They don't know about Indian music, leave alone any other music. They don't know about Indian dancing, they don't know about Indian traditions. Ask them why this is put or why this is born, why this is born. They won't be able to tell you what are they talking about Brahma and this and that. Read some few books here and there and just started talking. Some of them have come direct from jail. But they are so confused. I can understand. Confused. They talk another language which you have never heard before. But it is like going from fire to fire. This thing is not proper. You must understand that something must happen to you of us. Simple. Supposing I say I am such and such, all right, so what? What did I give you? What did you get? I am not surprised, my child, that you've got these things. I have seen people who have ended up into complete recluses. Absolutely horrible things have happened to them. But if you tell them also, they don't want to hear. It is such a position. They said, let us go to hell, doesn't matter. Our Guru will go to hell, we'll go with him. Really, they're so identified. I mean, you can't tell them. You just can't talk to them. If you talk to them, they feel very hurt. They don't know what harm it has done to them. They just don't know. Yeah.
But should we have compassion for such teachers and such people that are affiliated with them?
Should we have?
Compassion.
Should we have compassion for these people who are affiliated with these teachers?
First of all, you develop your compassion. Secondly, discretion. You see, it's a wasted compassion. What's the use of having compassion for Hitler? It is wasted. Absolutely wasted. I went to most of them, talked to them, told them, what are you doing? You have come out of the hell, now you are again going to go back permanently there. They won't listen to me. It's wasted.
How about the people that are associated with them, she said?
Say to me.
The disciples.
Followers. Tribe were very difficult, very difficult. Like one of the persons we had, John in London, who was very much worried about his friend, who was really lost to this fellow, this 14-year-old fellow. And he talked to him about it. And they were driving in a car. And he just went hayward, like this, like that, and he had to jump out of the car. You see, the fellow, they couldn't bear it. Yogi had compassion for 3 people from Rajneesh, you see. I told him, you bring them alone, separately to me, not in the big crowd, because in India we have really very, very big crowds, you see. And I said, there will be a problem. But he had compassion, you see. I told him, just don't bring him. But you see, that time he didn't understand what I was saying. But he brought them. And they must be about 60 feet away from me, not very close. As soon as they stood up and saw me, they just collapsed, you see. No energy in their body. People tried to lift them, their hands would slip just like a fish. You see, they didn't know what to do. 5, 6 people had to literally lift that kind of a molasses, you see, from there and put them out. It was such a problem. So, it's not easy, but gradually, if they discover it, come to right conclusion, and there are still something is there left, then you can manage.
Mother, I also had tea and meditation training, and so did my husband. And we've been seeking for a very long time.
I know.
And I'm here.
Good.
But we both attended the lectures, and we were both very touched, and we both felt truth.
That everybody does, till you discover. I must tell you about TM, horrid things about that, what happens actually.
Okay. I wanted to come, and I just made that spontaneous decision to come. And then after I'd already made the decision, I said, oh, you don't mind, do you, if I go? And he was very supportive of it, and he wanted to come also, but he wasn't able to. Now I'm going to go home, and...
You can manage it, I'll tell you. You see, he formed a big organization in Scotland. There's a lake called Roanoke Lake, and there was a gentleman who was a diamond merchant, see, and his wife was the granddaughter of a Duke of England. She always, tried to find out all the rich people of the world. And he said, you start this organization there, and it was called as the Academy of Flying. Academy of Flying. You see, they used to pay 6,000 pounds to go and do this thing. This girl was with him for 18 years, and they married about, I think, 12 years or so. And then this gentleman has been for 12 years. And this lady got a horrible type of epilepsy which I've never seen. For 3 hours she used to go into that thing and used to shout. Her neck used to be pulled out. And from the mouth, you see, all funny types of things used to fall out, used to vomit. Terrible condition. Nobody could control it. Nobody could do anything. The daughter also got it. The husband got it. All of them got it. And the deputy director, who also had inherited a lot of money from his mother, also got it. All of them, 4 of them got it. So one of their friends, you see, they all started wondering what's happening to these people, and they had become bankrupt because the money was not paid to them at all after 3-4 years. They were spending all the money, and they said, yes, we are going to send you accounts and this and that, and money was quite finished. So what happened, some people who knew them, who were under them, who worked under them, I mean in the sense that they went and so-called, they learned the Siddha movement and all that. You see, one of them had gone to a barber shop, and they are not allowed to read anything. You see, it's such a mafia stuff. There was one book kept as Yoga Today, had an article by David Baxter, and he felt like reading. And in that my photograph was there, and David had said, you can put your hands on this and see for yourself if you have got realization or not. And when he put it, he went into contortions. He got such a fright, he closed the book, and he telephoned. And we have a very simple man called Douglas, who was on the phone. And he said, have you been to TM? He said, yes. Are you boiling? He said, I'm perspiring. He said, all right, come and see us. So he went there. And I was in the house, I was eating my food. Suddenly a SOS came from the ashram mother. Somebody has come called David Prawl, you see. And we just told him your name and he's going into contortions. He cannot stop it. So better come here. He said, just a SOS. I said, let him go into contortions for a while. And I'll work it out. Then I gave a bandhan and all that. And then when he went back, he saw that it was stopped. But then this David Prawl, you see, called these people. They came, they were so frightened of this Mahishogi. They came to see me in a very far-fetched place, you see, somewhere outside London. And there they told me that this is all has happened to them and all that. They had no money even to come to that. So I brought them in my car. They stayed in my house. Imagine these rich people lost everything. And then I cured all of them. Now they are all right, but the husband became such a bankrupt, he had to go away to South Africa. His wife was so frightened and all that. She's cured now. Now she's with Yogi there. Now she's a normal person. Still she gets lots of problems. And then she told me that this man had raped her when she was 17 years of age. This is when she was 35, this has happened. And she had conceived a child from him. And then she had an abortion. And since then she is under trance, absolutely under his control. Even when she came to me, she used to go into trance and say, I love him, this old junky fellow, you see, 4 feet 2 inches. I don't know what made her love him. And he's very romantic and all that. She used to say all those things, really. But what happened, before coming to me, she went to News of the World and she had told them that I want to give this about Mahishogi. Everything she told, and it was all published, everything was done. And then she came to me, I told her, you should not have done this. This is a stigma for your children. But she said, Mother, I've done it. They'll sue me for this and all. I said, all right, go ahead. And nobody bothered. So many people have written about TM, but they go to it again and again. I don't know how to bring them round. He is a very powerful force that way, because he really somehow or other entraps people. And his main organizer, I know him very well. He's a very clever man, a big man in the government of India. And I know him because, after all, my husband was also in the government. And he told me that Mahishogi says that unless and until you involve them through money, these Americans can never be put down. And to such an extent, he thinks that they have a right to extract money from you people.
I paid $200 when I didn't really have it, that I was seeking, so I...
You see, only 200 is nothing. It's nothing. It doesn't matter,
Mother,
forget it.
I think one of the things she's worried about too is she's here and her husband's not here, and she's worried that, in some way she'll be...
Well, our marriage is very bonded.
Yes.
And
It will work out. You just don't worry. He'll come.
Also, I brought sugar. When you met us, you said we think too much.
Huh?
She's brought sugar.
Yes. You got sugar for him, and you give him a bandhan. You see, we'll teach you how to do it. Have you got his photograph? We'll work it out. It's not difficult, you see.
I don't have his photograph.
All right. You take some tapes also for him to listen to. They also help. You see, I don't know, and this. Then when she came to consciousness, you see, she told me so many things that, you see, this man used to giggle at people because he used to just feel how stupid these people are. He used to giggle, you see. And he said that I'm going to establish a world government. He wrote to all the people and he would carry gold chairs behind all these so-called ministers, all sorts of things. Now it has come to such a point that there was a lady called Miss Lee. Mrs. D. Yeah. They were trying to make a picture, something for the TV. And they have lots of money they have. I mean, they don't know what to do with their money. If you see their lifestyle, you will be surprised. All right, so this lady D, she was working for a man who was a German and whose son is involved with TM. She did not know. So they went to all these places. He said, we'll take a secret cameras and all that. But this man tried to maneuver it in such a way that he showed levitation through camera tricks and all those things. That, you see, came upon her conscience. Since suddenly, one day, she came to my program. And she has a hand which is what you call some sort of a paralyzed hand. And it started, you see, pulsating. And she felt the throbbing there. And she was surprised at it. And then her conscience became, you see, very strong. And she just refused to have that thing. She burnt everything that he had done, all these camera tricks and all that. She lost $30,000 pounds in that, but she said, doesn't matter. I have saved so many people. This would have been a terrible thing to show. And that's what, they have money, you see.
I don't mean to take up so much time because I know there's other questions, but through this practice, because he has been doing it for a long time, he went to MIU and did some of the studies and did all the different courses. What about damage to the chakras?
Quite a lot. Especially this left Vishuddhi. It's very badly damaged because of the mantras. But they will teach you.
I've had pain.
Yeah, you will get pain, people become recluses. You see, some people are such that even if you show them a garlic, they get trembling. They can't bear the garlic, seeing the garlic they can't see. Anything, like they can't see an incense, they cannot see a church, they cannot see my photograph, all sorts of things are there. Now what you can do is to ask them, write it down, what is to be done. We have someone here, just in front of you, from TM. All right, he'll tell you all about it, how to do it.
Mother, could you talk about unconditional love and what the concept is?
It will happen to you, my child. It cannot be described. It just flows, just flows, just flows. You can see it in the sunshine. Sunshine just comes. If you hide from it, it won't run after it. It does sometimes, a little bit. Not much. It tries all the angles, see, so that it should reach you. But if you are clever, too clever, then you can manage to get out of it.
I have never seen you before today, but last night, every hour I woke up and I heard in my head I was calling you. And you were near, it was like volcanoes. I was talking to one of the other people here. It was bubbling wherever you were in the earth. Yeah. I was just wondering the significance of it.
So this is quite true. It's nice you are so sensitive to it. But now you should just see my peaceful side, it's better. I have many sides, I must say.
The volcanoes in
Yeah, all that is there, no doubt, you see. They have to work out also, volcanoes.
A lot of us that have been on this path for years and years have experienced states where we felt there was union and there was bliss, and then there's that dry period that starts and continues and continues and continues. And in that point, I think that's where one tries different paths to try to find a way back. I think that's why there's the shopping around. Can you explain what causes that dry period and how it ends?
Shopping.
What causes the dry period? You realize there is bliss, then you go through a dry period. And that's why the guru shopping starts. Why does the dry period come?
You see, you live on a position in the sense that your brain is really like a pyramid, or you can say like a prism. It is like a prism, your brain is. Human brain has a capacity, see, a special capacity, more than the animals have. That in them the superego and ego are balanced in the head, you see, and that it has risen high like that. So it's like a prism. And in the prism, if you know the laws of science, is that when the rays fall on that, and when there is a double type of density in the brain, because you have grey cells and white cells, so it goes into refraction. And when it goes into refraction, you see, the one ray that falls, the ray of consciousness goes into refraction. And that refraction passes like this, you see, some of it goes inside and just crosses this way and that way. So when it comes out, it acts as a resultant. I don't know if there's a scientist sitting here. And that has that's a resultant of two forces. One goes out and one goes inside. And this attention that goes out, you see, makes you see things outside than inside, you see. And most of it is outside. Most of it. So human attention is outside. If I tell you put your attention inside, you cannot. You cannot. But when you get realization, what happens? The Kundalini rises. And that happening, like something happens, then your attention goes. The attention is sucked in. And that's how you start seeing inside. But because the Kundalini is not awakened, your attention is outside. But little bit you go inside also. Because the resultant is like this, it's slanting. So sometimes you little go inside, and then again you come out. Now the thing is, a thought rises, see, and falls off. Another thought rises and falls off. In between there's a very little space, and that's the present. You touch that. But normally we jump on the cusps. But suddenly you see some beautiful thing, or something like, you see something that's emitting vibrations. Then you just go there. You just slip from your thoughts into that. But for a split of a second. That's how it happens. But after realization, that space improves and you are above that. These people don't explain anything, do they? Just tell you a mantra, go ahead with the mantra. And most of these mantras means nothing. Useless. One of them is Tinga, means this, showing somebody like this, imagine. And Inga means the tail of a scorpion.
That was mine.
Oh,
That was my mantra.
Hey. She just got it. And yours too. Better sitting together. You see, this is the thing, it is getting frightened. Horrible.
What does sham mean?
Huh?
Sham.
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 Shama.
No. Sham.
Evening.
oh, evening, Sham. Hindi
Sham.
Sham.
Sham is Shri Krishna's name also maybe.
What does it mean?
They gave you Sham?
Yes.
Sham. Sham, no, it is Shyam. It is Shyam. But Sham, you see, because he doesn't know Sanskrit also. Especially in Sanskrit, there is nothing like ing. This gender, this doesn't, he must have got it from England, this word ing. Must be, I don't know. There's no Sanskrit. He doesn't know Sanskrit. None of them know Sanskrit. Can you imagine? They don't know Sanskrit. What can they talk about God? I mean, from Indian level, isn't it? At least you should know something of Sanskrit. I've never studied Sanskrit, never. But I know Sanskrit, of course I know. Yeah, please.
I would like you to comment on light or cosmic light, ascended masters and masters.
What is it?
She'd like you to comment on light,
Cosmic light.
ascended masters, and these sorts of things.
All stories. Don't believe them. One of them I met who said there's an ascended master in Shambhala. You see, Shambhala stuff, you see. I said, what is Shambhala? It is from Sambhal. Sanskrit is Sambhal. Shambhala is all nonsense. Sambhala means parallel to your head. Sambhal, as parallel to your forehead. That is the limbic area. See, Sambhal. So that they call Shambhala. And where is Shambhala? In Gobi desert. Imagine. Horrible people. Let them go to Gobi desert. Direct march towards eternity. You see, nobody can walk even half a mile in the desert. You can't get any water, you can't get anything. And they are taking people now from Spain, I heard. Many people are going to Shambhala, which is in Gobi desert. Imagine, in Gobi desert, only the dead must be living. Those who must have been lost, might have lost their ways. That's one of the deserts you cannot enter into. It's a horrible place. All this nonsense came here. Then there are other lady I met in Ohio, in Tiffin, you see. She said, we have got a place where the masters speak to us. I said, really? So when I went, they were all, I said, where is your master? He's not speaking. I said, he did not speak. He's some sort of a dead body somewhere lying. I said, there's no one like that, you see. I said, these masters, if they are real, they don't act like this. They act in a very different way. They can come in your dreams, all right. They come in your dreams and tell you, like, we can say, Shri Sainath. He was the last primordial master who came on this earth. And those people who follow Shri Sainath have seen him coming in their dreams telling that I am Mataji, you go to Mataji, all those things they do. But these horrible people are just taking names like that, all these enlightened masters. And what have they shown? You see, the main thing you must understand, supposing somebody says that in the supermarket this is available, it's very good and cheap, I have used it, then you go and buy that, isn't it? In the same way, you should find out, what are the seekers? Where are they? What have they got it? What did they get it? Now say we have got now here Warren, we've got all these people, you see, you talk to them, you'll be surprised, their knowledge. Their knowledge. How is it they have got it? See, but what happens to the seekers, you must see, they still have questions, they still don't understand anything, they are in a mess, they have not found anything. So whatever one may say, why should you believe? You must first of all verify. Isn't it? That's simple. I mean, it's so logical. Don't put your brain for say, just see that it is there. You understand it. Through your brain's capacity, you can reach the right conclusion. And then, after reaching the right conclusion, then you jump in. Right conclusion you must reach.
You brought up a point about dreams. How do you read dreams?
You brought up a point about dreams. How do you read dreams?
Dreams are coming from that center that you see, the red center there.
The lowest one?
Yeah.
Come from here
Yes, and this is the subconscious, you see, that works out. So when you sleep, you go on this center works out, and then you start going down, your attention goes down, and you start receiving the information from this center. But what happens that because there are many other stratas through which you pass, like there's the subconscious itself. Now subconscious have many stratas. It has a collective subconscious. It has the pure past. Then you have the collective subconscious where the dead are there. Then you have got the subconscious which was yours in previous lives, from animal stage to this stage. Then you have got the subconscious of this life. And then you have the subconscious of today also. Whatever has happened today is there also. In the morning whatever has happened is there. So all these things it passes through. But if you have a very clear-cut passage in this subtle channel called as Iranadi, then you see the right things. You see, if you have that clean thing. But people are perverted, people have all kinds of complications on the center, then that you don't see the right thing, you see all absurd things, you never see continuous dream, you don't understand. The dreams are so funny that you cannot explain, you see. Anything can happen. So the dreams can get, what you can say, also absolutely mutilated.
I still don't understand what helps that. I never dreamed before I started chanting, and I didn't start really dreaming until I was 23, and now I dream all the time, and I don't really understand what's going on.
What do you dream?
I have a lot of dreams about water and waves.
About what?
Water.
Water. Waves.
And waves.
But you don't reach any conclusion with that, do you?
Mother, she didn't have dreams until she started chanting.
God knows. These bhoots are there. I don't know what these people are up to. They give ideas, you see, even in dreams they can, because they are in the subconscious, they can enter, they can give ideas. Lots of dreams could be very much handled by them. It can be anything, see. So just now, first of all, you must purify your left side clearly, and then whatever dreams you get, you can depend on them very clearly. In dreams, people have got instructions of Sahaja Yoga. Once I went to Bombay, I couldn't inform some of the people. They dreamt the mother has arrived. You see, it's a telecommunication system, but if the line is not all right, you can get any sort of a sound, isn't it? Meaning nothing. So better develop that first. Then you will be able to find out clearly. All right?
Does a particular kind of diet play an important part of Sahaja Yoga?
No, in Sahaja Yoga we don't prescribe any general thing for anyone. Like you might be a person who is a right-sided person, you might be a liver patient, and yesterday I'm sure there were many here because as soon as I came up, I said, now what's that? My liver started just, going like a big heart and dug. It was terrible. So it depends on what individually we have to see what is our requirement, what we lack in, what do we need, and everybody can find out, and accordingly we have to take to that kind of a food. But it's not permanent. Once you are cured, then you need not have. So there is nothing like that about food. But we don't eat meat of the bigger animals, you see, than us, because their muscular system is such that their muscles are bigger and they eat us off. Like if you eat like a horse meat or something, then your teeth will be all finished. You will have no teeth left there, you see. So like that, these are little things we do like that. But you can eat chicken and goats and what do you call it?
Pigs,
lambs. Also pigs, you see, in the countries like India, one should not eat, or in any Muslim countries, the pigs are so dirty and their liver is so bad that they should not eat pigs, you see. But meat, I think you people have eaten a bit too much, so you can take to vegetarian food. It's all right. Not so much, but little bit more on the vegetarian. We are already eating a lot of now all these things, but some people should not eat carbohydrates, some people should not eat at all vegetables. There are some people like that who should not. So we have to find out for ourselves. Whatever we need, that we should do for ourselves. There's no hard and fast rule about it. It's all spontaneous, like every seed requires a different type of a treatment.
What was the last thing you said about what kind of a treatment?
Individual. Different times.
Well, just because when we talked about the lower chakra, it was mentioned not to have stimulants because it can damage the lower chakra.
Stimulants like, you see, you can have tea at the most, but not too much of tea is also not. Too much of everything is bad, so should be avoided. But you see, if you have, say, alcohols and all that, I don't say don't take, but you won't take. Because it goes against your awareness. I don't say don't do it. You'll just not do it because it goes against your awareness. You see, awareness is very important. But there's no compulsion. Gradually you give up. I don't say even don't smoke. It just stops up.
I've had a lot of good things happen in my life. I see a lot of positive in the world. I like to smell the rose. And at the same time, I know there's thorns and there's a lot of sadness and negativity in the world. And I don't want to turn my head to it, and I don't want to be overwhelmed by it. But it concerns me, and I wonder how you deal with the things of hunger and sadness in the world.
You see, sadness is of others. This can be quite mythical also. Sometimes the people are sad for nothing at all. I've seen people, they said, Mother, we are feeling guilty in Switzerland. I said, what are you feeling guilty about? You see, we are feeling guilty about Korea. I said, Korea? Is that your responsibility? Why are you feeling sorry for that? They are feeling sorry for this, sorry for that, this and that. Now, have you any solution? That's the point. If you have no solution, better find the solution. That's the positive attitude. No use feeling sad about it. If you can find a solution, well, I can give you solutions for practically everything.
Could I say something on that? That used to bother me, so I understand what you're saying. And the way I got myself over that was to try and do some good to people that come across my path. In other words...
That's it. You find a solution. Yeah. But in Sahaja Yoga, the solution is so simple, I tell you. Give realization. People who are poor no more remain poor. They don't become rich, headache rich, they don't become. They become normally all right. See, those who are suffering from bad health get cured. Those who have mental problems get all right. Family relationships improve. Children improve. So give realization, because that's the ultimate. Once the light comes in, you start seeing the problem also and the curing of it.
Yes. Thank you. Some of
of us are gifted to be living and working in an area of great change, and I believe to be agents for very positive change here in America. I'm interested, I think my definition of the crisis that I feel is the issue of service versus sacrifice. Often we have to fight very hard for the things that we feel are right, and we just have to trust that we see what is correct and in moving in the direction that we choose. Often this is possibly a great risk and perhaps even detrimental to something that we have started work with, and then facing a conflict that perhaps there may be a change. Is that too complicated?
All right, let's see.
It's too much for me now.
All right. What I gathered is that service and sacrifice. Is it all right, service? As it is, you see, American English is not easy to understand. And then service and what did you say? Service and sacrifice. Now let's see this point, if sacrifice so-called. Now when I say this, my finger is sick, all right, and I treat it, I just soothe it. Am I doing any service for that? Nothing. It's my finger. When there is not the other, whom are you serving? Who is the other? In collective consciousness, nobody is the other, you are serving yourself. So there is no service. What do I sacrifice? Nothing. There's a pain, I better get rid of it. There's no sacrifice. So the service and sacrifice is a myth. Complete myth. There is nothing to serve. I'm not serving you by any chance. I'm doing it because jolly well I'll have to do it. It's for my enjoyment I'm doing it. You see, there is nothing like service and sacrifice. These are all our mental ideas. It comes from ego, I tell you. Whom will you serve? What will you do? What work do we do, really? See now, we've got something dead, tree, we make this floor, make this chair, make that. Well, this is dead from the dead. What is this? And this dead is sitting on our head. If you see, supposing we make a chair, we can't sit on the ground. If you make a table, then we cannot eat on the ground. So we are becoming slave of that dead. What we are doing? Nothing. Can we transform one flower into a fruit? We cannot. What service can we do? A debt to the dead. Finished. Like in India, we have many missionaries like that. You see, one of them got a Nobel Prize also. Wow. This woman, if you see her, you can count her every wrinkle one by one. And such a hot-tempered woman, very extremely hot-tempered. But she's got a Nobel Prize, what can you do? She thinks she's doing service. So what she's done, she's got money from Indians, big, huge barracks, and where the people who are dying, she brings them there and they die comfortably. And she's got a Nobel Prize. I don't know what is there to be Nobel Prize in that. But it's very simple. If she was a realized soul, she need not have brought them anywhere, just touch them, they are cured. They are saved. And if they have to die, it's God's responsibility, not ours. Why do you want to save somebody whom God wants to die? Let the person die. Of course, just to give a shelter and all that. If you have capacity, you spend your own money, have a shelter. Do it, take others' money like an agency and get a Nobel Prize is not a good thing, I think. It's not in the sense of grace.
It's not to distinguish between social work and God's work.
That is social. The social work. Now the social work is your headache. You have created problem. God has not created any problem. So don't call God in between. Nothing. God has nothing to do with social work. You see? He has nothing to do with social work. This is the God's work. There's nothing social. Just works. These social workers can't raise the Kundalini, can they? They can't give you realization. They will cure you with the money they will accumulate from some agencies, World Bank, this bank, that bank. and then buy some medicines and give you. These medicines may kill you also. Oh, so many medicines are like that, aren't they?
Yes.
Now, you can just give realization to a person and finish. Why, we can't believe it's so fantastic, my child. You have that capacity within you, where you don't have to do any social work. Just touch somebody, it works. Just sitting down here, just do like this, it will work. You are that tremendous, so fantastic. Why do social work? All right? That's what it is. You understand now? May God bless you. It's nice you brought this point, because this was very important. We think we should be nice to others. And what nice to others? See? Sometimes really I have to shout at some people when they are possessed and they run away, you see, the possession. The first Sahajogis, the 12 of them, one of them has now come to Bombay. The one I gave realization the first day, he was belonging to a community called Gujarati, which are very materialistic people. So the others, Maharashtrians, I am a Maharashtrian born, they got, you see, among themselves, murmuring souls started saying, Mother is favoring these Gujaratis, not us, she didn't give us realization this time. Nobody told me, but I knew this. Next day I really got with them very angry. I said, you the people who say like this and all that and all, whatever, how far I could go, I just say. And can you imagine, in that short time, 12 people got realization, just like that. And they settled down into it. You see, sort of a force acted on them. They just settled down. It's so wonderful it was to see them. And since then they are there, all of them. This Mr. Pradhan's father is one of them. The Pradhan Mr. He is now 79. 79, his father. He was one of them. I shouted at all of them and 12 of them got settled into it permanently. So sometimes you have to shout also.
That's the volcano. That's the volcano.
That's the volcano. But for children it's not volcano. It can be we can say a balloon bursting, just to give a little warning. There's one sitting with the same balloon burst.
And okay, when a person comes in contact with realization and they practice it, and then it's time for them to pass and leave the body, what happens then? Do they come back? Or
what happens to a realized soul after death?
Oh, they do come back. They do come back, but in their own choice, because they think that they have to do it more. Like some people have a body which is tired now, old, so they do come back to help me. So many are reborn, I know, who are realized souls of the ages have been reborn. So many children want to be reborn who are great souls. That's why I said we must have sane marriages, good marriages, because those children are to be born. So, of course, they take their birth, because this is why they are there. This is the judgment time, and they have to come down. So many are needed here on this earth. So many are born realized in your country, you must know that.
You just said that this is the judgment time, and I gather that, you have referred to this age as a very critical age, right? Could you talk more about that?
About the judgment?
It's a critical time, she said, and could you talk more about that?
Very precarious and critical, because this is the time for which you are prepared. Sort of the whole preparation, the whole creation, all that was done for this thing. Now, like you prepare a stage, a complete stage, now you have to act. Like that, this is called now as Kruta Yuga. According to the Indian calendar, this is called as Kruta Yuga, not anymore as Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the modern times of confusion, but Kruta Yuga, where the primordial primordial power will act. Kruta means it will work. And so this is the most important time. Because now what is the most important time of this machine is when it is connected to the means. Before that, all it's doing is useless. This is the completion time, complete, absolute to be achieved at this time. So it's the most important time, no doubt.
What is this time frame? You talk about this time. And in God's time, creation is billions of years and billions of lifetimes.
Yes, it's true.
What is this time in a framework that I can understand? Is it 1,000 years? Is it 1 billion years? Or is it 5 years?
It could be even 1 year.
I didn't want to ask.
So be careful. Better hurry up. All right? Yeah.
Relative to that, the other night, I think it was Monday night in Los Angeles, somebody asked you about the return of the Christ, and you said, yes, the Christ would come. And Benjamin Crumb says the Christ is living in London. Is that true?
That's a big joke. It never came before. Anybody says, I'm Christ, put him on the water. He goes down.
Somebody asked you the other night if the Christ would come, and you said yes. I thought that's what you said.
Yes, he's going to come, no doubt. But when he comes, he's not going to have any meetings, no conference, no questions, nothing. He's going to sort out.
He's going to what?
Sort out.
Sort out.
You better explain that part.
That's an English term.
Sort out, I know it.
You know that. I speak in English way, see, because we learnt English from English. But American is rather difficult for me to learn now.
I'm finding it easy. What do you mean? What do you mean, sort out?
Could you just explain the sorting out?
Now, tell them in American language.
Sorting out. You be filtered out. You be sorted out. You'll sort yourselves out. Those who are going to go the wrong way will go the wrong way. Those who are recognized will recognize.
Those who have to go to heaven will go to heaven. Those who are useless people will be thrown into hell. Those who are gone cases will be destroyed forever. And those who are there will be taken into the kingdom of heaven for the eternal life.
Is that metaphorically speaking?
What do you say that to in one word in the American language?
Is that a symbol?
Are you speaking symbolically? Are you speaking symbolically?
No, actually. Physically.
You mean Jesus Christ as a person will come?
Yeah.
If we are all one, if Nirmala,
What?
how can anybody be thrown out? It's like trying to throw out my finger.
If we're all one, how can you throw
You see,
some out?
if there's a nail growing very badly, you can cut it out.
Wow.
They become dead. As you said.
Why is there so much light coming from the constellation Orion?
Why is there light coming from the constellation Orion? Is that Christ coming?
Constellation?
Orion. Orion. I don't know.
It's a group of stars of a star.
A group of stars, Mother, called Orion. And he's saying this. He's saying, Mother, that why is there so much light coming from this group of stars, which are called as Orion?
All right. You will see the results of all those things. There are lots of things are happening. This is just one of them they are talking about. But there are lots of things happening. Do you know that sun also is put off and put on, just like a switch?
What?
Yes.
The sun is what?
Put off and put on.
Flashes on and off, like a switch.
Flashes on and off. Many things are happening. You see, that's just a wee bit of it. But there's so many things happening after all.
Yes,
the whole
I
thing,
think so.
the stage has to be worked out.
More or less on the same subject. Earlier this morning we heard, during the earlier part of the lecture, that many things come through artists, no matter what field, the artistic creative field, the spirit will come through. And this interests me because I'm suddenly aware over the last year, even the last year, a great infiltration of musical people that are very talented, are coming to the West Coast. And I was about to give up music in England. I really wanted to give it up. I got to a big black hole in my life, and I got fed up with the rat race. And I had a letter completely out of the blue from a lady that I really didn't know too well, from Carmel, California, that I should start again and that I was needed over here. And yet why she should use those words, I don't know.
No, it's Sahaja.
When I came here, I immediately found musicians, one musician after another musician. I'm now led back into my field, and I hope I may be singing at Davies Hall this Christmas time, which means that I'm a complete stranger, and it takes a musician a long time to get back into a musical field. But I've only been here 2 years. 1 year was completely without music.
They are becoming very sensitive, extremely sensitive in this country, see?
Yes.
And really they are all very saintly people. That's why I came here first. I mean, I must say, so many saints were given these bounties. You must count your blessings, what you have. Very few countries have this kind of climate throughout. You see, you are so blessed. God has blessed you specially for this. But like an Indian who met me in a store, he said, we heard you on the television, and a friend who has come from India, he told me that mother is just wasting her time in America. So I said, why? Don't you know, I have said many a times in India that the saints are born in America. Why do you say like that? He said, they may be saints, but they are all lost saints. Because I was going to Los Angeles, you see. So he said, they are all Los Angeles here. And they are all lost angels. So I said, no. Angels cannot be lost. You see, they can fall, but they cannot be lost. They are to be brought up. And that's why it is their angels.
I missed you there, unfortunately, but I'm glad I caught up with you.
Yes, very good. Very good. I'm very happy you came from that horrible sleeping England. They are still sleeping, I must say. Tamasa. Tamasa, you see, the river Thames is described in our old book scriptures as Tamasa river. Tamas means darkness, and who meditated there was Dattatreya, the primordial master, meditated on the river Tamasa. So that's in England. Imagine, since then they have tried to awaken it. But England, you know how it is. Oh God. That's the heart.
I had to come away.
Yes, the heart of the universe, it does not circulate any blood.
Why do you call it the heart?
Huh?
Why do you call it the heart?
Because it is.
When you said that England is the heart of the universe and that the United States is the Vishuddhi of the universe. Does that mean that the planet Earth has a special place in the universe?
Saturn. You see, Saturn sits there.
No, the Earth. Does the planet Earth have a special place?
Yes, planet Earth has, but also the planet that governs it is the Saturn. You see, you are so much interested in Saturn.
In Saturn?
Saturn.
Yeah. Saturn is here at the Vishuddhi.
Vishuddhi, Saturn.
Earth is the Muladhara.
Earth is the Muladhara. Muladhara is the triangular bone, is the Earth. Mother Earth is.
Would you say something about extraterrestrial?
You see, that's all under our control sort of thing. We can say that Sahajogis can control anything if they want to. That's at a higher level. When you rise from this to cosmic awareness, you see, then you can control also, no problem. But you see, you're not interested because it's better to control human beings. Very easy to control all these things, isn't it? The rain came first to clean it, now there's sun for you to enjoy. How to control human beings is the big problem. They cannot control themselves, leave alone I controlling them. They cannot control themselves. You give them something, you give them power, they go amok. You give them freedom, they go amok. You give them money, they go amok. You give them plentiful, they go mad. What to do? They can't bear anything. You see, you have so much of plenty here, But Indians are much wiser people. I must say they are not, in percentage, like 60% people are homosexuals. I can't believe it in San Francisco. Now they feel hurt if I tell them that this is unnatural. When you will become natural, you will enjoy natural life. There's nothing to be angry for that. There's nothing to be angry. It's like that, this everything God has given you. Count your blessings. You are really specially blessed people for your good deeds in last lives. But this life you have achieved, I don't know what sort of awareness, that people just don't want to see anything. Like the music that appeals to your spirit must be sung, must be appreciated, you see. Instead of that, it is horrible la 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 that goes on. I don't know how people don't go mad with it, and then on psychedelic things you work on people. It's really maddening. It will madden even a dog, leave alone anyone. If you play that kind of a horrid music that they have very karkashala काय म्हणतात असेल इंग्लिश मध्ये shrilling sort of thing, even a dog would go mad. I tell you, try on a dog.
Mother, it has been scientifically proved that pop music is anti-rhythmic. Anti-rhythmic. It's against the natural
rhythm.
That's it. When a man walks, generally the left foot comes out and the right hand. With the pop music, you start with the right foot. So it's anti-rhythmic, and it creates madness.
To me, I know Mozart was a realized soul. Mozart was a realized soul, no doubt. And there were so many like that, but they cannot be appreciated. But you see, you can even have jazz music is good. Jazz has got so much of creativity in it. It works out on a creative thing. But you must base it on something that is related to your being inside. Like Indian music, you can call it something like jazz. In the sense it is so spontaneous. But you have to first build it up into melodies. You have to go to a guru to understand what a melody is, and you have to keep to that boundaries of melody. Like a plane, it has to ascend. Then it cannot go hither and thither and throw all its wings on all the sides. You see, it has to be bound. In the same way, a melody has to move in a particular manner, and it has to go up and down. But you have all the power to create the permutations and combinations and the way to build up the whole image of the beautiful melody. You can just make the whole palace out of it. But if you go just amok here and there, supposing now if you don't use the plumb line and build this building, what will happen? You won't see it third day standing here. It's like that. You cannot go amok with it. Now jazz music is good, but it must have the collection with the basics. But because, you see, in India we were more sort of meditative people, believed in meditation and taking our sort of guidance from the meditative rishis and munis. You see, music has the same principle. Then even art, you see, even drama, everything. In a drama, how to create a particular mood, you see, what words to be used, what sentences to be used, what language to be used, what makes your body stand on your this thing. But sometimes I find that when it is without understanding of the science of creating, science of creating, what happens that when you are trying to create a mood of, say, great courage, you just start laughing. It creates a joke, out of it, because you don't know the basis of that. So all the roots of everything must be found out. The essence of everything should be found out. You cannot just go amok. You see, I think there was a very big attack on the Western line also, like Wagner. He's a great person who would say that who has attacked your music. Definitely Wagner has. It's a demonic attack, because he took you off the roots. You see, then we can say this Bauhaus who attacked your architecture. They have attacked also, because all the sense of beauty is lost with that, and the whole thing has come out of the roots, you see. And now the people started building houses which are functional. You cannot become a machine. You must have that, you see, the roots nourishing you all the time. And if you take out from the roots, then what is left? And that's what was wrong on these people now, this Bauhaus. People in America go mad because they are all Bauhaus houses, and you feel like you are living in a pigeonhole. Isn't it?
Yes, could you please comment on destiny versus human choice?
Good idea. Now, it requires a big lecture.
Would you like to leave it till another time?
Huh?
Would you like to leave it till another time? Or have you lunch?
No, I will just tell in one sentence.
Appreciate your guidance on that.
Yeah. Now, you see, we have human choice to go to hell or to heaven. That choice we have. If you want to go to hell, you are there. Now, the destiny is how you choose your own destiny. Also, sometimes you choose your parents, you choose your country, you choose your things, and sometimes you are placed into it. But whatever may be your destiny, whatever may be circumstances you all can go to heaven. That's the thing. It's promised. It's there. So it makes no difference. Whatever type of community, caste, background you come, you all can go to heaven. You can enter into the kingdom of God. You can be the spirit. Makes no difference whatsoever. So these destinies are left behind. You all can achieve the sunshine. That's the point is. So the choice is whether you want the sunshine or not. That's your choice. So the destiny is not to be decided on that level. It's only up to the level where you are absolutely very much tied down to things. But the ascent is possible to everyone. Whether you are a DC-10 or you are a jumbo jet, all of you can fly in the air.
On that point, what is it meant in the Bible? I don't really read the Bible, but they say, in my Father's house there are many mansions.
In the Bible it says, in my Father's house there are many mansions.
Yeah.
What is meant by that?
There are many mansions because these are all the mansions of, you see, there are 7 centers in the head. 7 centers, all of them, the seats are there. And in his house there are many mansions. Means, now supposing you are an artist, you are a musician, you can enter into the mansion of music where you enjoy the essence of music. Wherever you want, you can move on. Many mansions is the description of the greatness, the varieties of his beauty and his splendor.
Mother, my question goes back to the idea of sorting and judgment. Yogi said earlier that we are each a cell of God. Would she destroy one of her own cells, or would God destroy a cell from herself?
We in the microcosm are a cell in the body of God. Would God destroy a cell in his own body?
No, not the cell, but you see what happens, like nails that grow out, they are to be removed. There are nails in the body, they are to be removed. Their excretion has to take place in the body. That's also part of the body function.
But then my question is, if it's the spiritual essence of ourselves, is that judgeable? I mean, is there a possible doom?
It is, you see, the spirit is not an innate thing within us like that as you think it. Like in a candle, the light is not innate. It can be a lamp or it could be an enlightened lamp. So when it just becomes a lamp and a useless lamp which cannot be enlightened, we throw away. It's common sense. It is common sense. In your house, if you have a lamp which cannot work out, the light, you don't want to keep it. You just sell it off or you throw it out.
Yes, but can you think of a soul in that way? Can you think of a human essence as something that can be useless or disposed of or non?
It's only a reflection. Before
you see, it is reduced back to its useless thing, like matter. It can become even worse. I don't want to tell that. It's terrible. It's very horrid. You become plastic. Useless it is.
When I first
receive realization, soon afterwards, when I would meditate, or afterwards, I would almost see or feel a small image of you kind of around me, or
Image of who?
Of you.
of you. And sometimes feel also like a presence of Christ. And when I hear you talk about Jesus, I sense that there's an intimacy, an immediacy. And I also...
When you talk about Christ, she feels there's an intimacy between two.
Yes.
Very much.
And could you help clear up what exactly Christ's gift was to human beings, to us? Could you tell
What was
me?
Christ's gift to human beings?
Oh, greatest of all.
clearly
Oh, greatest of all. That one also another lecture, but all right. I hope you don't miss your lunch.
Okay.
You've already missed it.
You filled us up.
They've had their lunch.
They had. All right, I'll cover this subject because it's very sweet of her to ask. It's true, but if you go through one of my lectures about Christ, you will know what he's done. It's very good. But the only thing I'll tell you that all these incarnations came on different centers. You see, they are milestones of our evolution. And when Christ came in, you see, the ego and superego had developed so much at this point, the Romans were there, you see, that the whole thing like two balloons absolutely attached to each other like that right there. And and it had to be done in such a way that somebody had to cross this, see, to be there. And only a person of Christ caliber could do that because he was made of Chaitanya itself. He was just vibrations. He had no body. He had no earth element to that extent that we could call that it was just Chaitanya, his Omkara himself. You see, he incarnated on this earth because it's only he could get into that position, pass through that, to show the resurrection. Resurrection is his message. It was only he could do it. So he came specially for this. And you have to listen to many of my lectures about Christ's life, what happened to him and all that. But now I would suggest one thing. Now, today you are facing me. Christ, of course, has helped us a lot, and he has created this Agya Chakra for us, which is a very big thing. Without that, that's the gate to enter in. But now you have to be here, not there. So that's what it is. So you should try to understand your relationship. In Sahaja Yoga, it's Christ, how important it is and how he works within yourself. But you have to know that you are reborn now. You are reborn. You are reborn with your spirit. So now you have to do the work of the light. Like Christ himself has said that the enlightened light is not kept under the table. So that's what it is. Now, so your job is just like, we can say, reflecting that light that is within you. All right? So he's done a great thing, no doubt.
Just since I've been in this room, I feel a really tightness in my throat. And it's like, I'm not going to choke or anything, but it feels like a lot of tremendous sadness that comes up. And this has happened to me a couple of other times in my life, and I can't explain it. I feel like crying, but I don't understand it.
What is it?
Since she's been in the room, she's felt a tremendous tightness in her throat, and it's happened several times before. She can't understand it.
And she feels like crying.
She feels like crying when it
So,
happens.
you see, have you been smoking before? Did you smoke? Nothing. You see, the left side, in your case, is being hurt. I mean, emotionally, you are not all right. There's emotional dearth. You need emotional expression, or emotionally you are not substantiated. I can say you are not nourished emotionally. And that's why the lacking is there. And that's what you need. And what you have to do is to put your left side to the right side. Like that. Balance. And then you'll feel better. Alright? In any case, I'll see your Vishuddhi. And you have to have faith in yourself that you are part and parcel of the whole. That's what Vishuddhi Chakra does. Alright? Is it better now? Now, how many questions to ask? That's typically TM though.
Should I do the same if I've
For
been
yourself.
experiencing
No,
block
you see, we'll
and-
tell you the mantra that you have to say to neutralize it. There's a very big mantra needed. And he will make you a master. And then you'll have to help all the TMs, alright?
All the TMs in that corner.
All those who come from the TM. You have to be the master of that. Like our Jim is. I put all TMs to him. And see how you are sitting next to him.
I know, isn't that weird?
Is it? Now, should we?
One over here.
The thing I was not understanding in listening to you when you speak of compassion, and yet somehow, like when you talk of Mahesh or Guru Maharaji or Bhagwan, I don't feel that. And what I'm getting when I look at the whole picture is, even people, they put themselves forward in that way.
What's it called?
Just that they also serve a function, in the sorting out process. Just as
That's
much.
the thing is, you see, you people are not sensitive to divinity. That's what I feel, is many people are not. That's why you were deceived also. If you were sensitive, if you had those innocent eyes, you would have seen. Indians are not taken by these people at all, none of them. Very seldom Indians will take to them. Secondly, I saw this in Rome, you see, the Italians. They have that sensitivity. In Europe, I think they and Austrians have that sensitivity, very much developed. They can see from the photograph immediately, see, and they can make out. But you don't have what to do. Your eyes are not all right, I should say that way. And you don't depend on them till you have cleared them out completely. All right?
He also questioned compassion towards the mother. Should we not be compassionate?
Compassion is, as I told you, no use having compassion for Hitler, makes no meaning to him. When he was, that's what it is. You see, you cannot have compassion, for them. Let God decide for them. We leave them to God to decide, and that's what it is. But you must first develop